Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you my go-to glowy, healthy makeup look for spring. I love to glow. I love a good, healthy, highlighted cheek, but my skin does tend to lean more on the oily side. I do have to be pretty careful with what kind of glowy products I use and also pay attention to the application and the techniques that I use to apply my makeup. So I want to show you guys my tips and techniques on how to achieve really pretty, glowy, healthy skin, but not have it look super oily or too overdone. I also think this type of makeup would work really well for brides. You want to look really fresh and flawless and have your makeup stay on in place for a very long time, but still have it look natural and healthy and glowy. That is my favorite type of makeup, and that is what I'm going to show you how I achieve today. I will also be doing a little giveaway at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. I am also using a lot of newer products today, or newer for me. These have also been some of my favorites, so I thought this would be a good way to show you guys my new favorites, but in action. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this video, and let's get started. So I'm going to start with priming my skin. Today I'm going to use this one from NARS. This is the Pore and Shine Control Primer. I'm going to focus this in the areas where I have more enlarged pores, so around my nose area, and also where I tend to get a little bit shiny throughout the day. I love to have my makeup look really glowy and healthy and dewy, but my skin does lean more on the oily side, so I have to be really careful with applying like foundations that are too dewy, because they look really beautiful in the beginning, but as the day goes on, my skin can get super oily and just look like not the good type of glowy, if you guys know what I mean. So I find it super helpful to apply a more mattifying primer before I do my foundation and everything else, because that way it just kind of keeps the oils at bay. This primer is definitely one of my new favorites. It works so well. It just really blurred out this whole area, and my skin already looks so much more smooth. I also like to do a little priming on the outer parts of my skin before I get into the foundation, and I like to use something that's a little bit more illuminating, because again, I want that like beautiful glow when I turn my face. You can use any illuminating primer that you own, or even a liquid highlight. I'm really into the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light Wand, so that's what I'm going to use today. I'm just going to apply it directly onto the upper part of my cheek and blend it in with my finger. So now we've really primed the skin properly, so this part is going to stay extra matte, and then this part is going to stay extra glowy and dewy throughout the day. Moving on to foundation, I'm going to use one of my favorites. This is the Double Wear Light from Estee Lauder. It's a really nice lightweight foundation. It's a bit more on the matte side, but I love to mix it in with an illuminating product to give it that glow and that beautiful radiance. So I'm going to mix this foundation with a little bit of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. I'm going to apply about that much to the back of my hand, and then a little pump of the Opal Illuminizer, and I'm just giving that a little mix. I love mixing different products together to create something custom. I will also sometimes add a lightweight moisturizer to the mix if my skin is doing really well and I don't need that much coverage. And then I'm going to take my dampened beauty blender, pick up some product, and apply it to my skin. Moving on to a new concealer. This is new for me. It is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer from NARS, and I got mine in the shade Ginger. I'm going to apply that with a flat concealer brush underneath my eyes. This is the Sigma Concealer F75, and then I'm going to blend it in with a beauty blender. I take it quite far up the side of my nose to really brighten this area as well, and I also like to take it just there into the inner corner of the eye, and then I also like to take it around my nose and just diffuse it outwards. And again, with my beauty blender, I blend that in. I sometimes like to go back with just a second light layer just where I have the darkness, just to give myself an extra little bit of brightness there. I love to work in just very light layers and build rather than put too much product on at once. Again, I think that that adds to that very natural blended finish that I love. Isn't makeup just so much fun? I think it's such an art and I truly enjoy doing my makeup. Of course, there are some days where I just don't want to wear any makeup at all, but when I do and when I'm in the mood, I love it. It can just be so therapeutic and like transformative, of course, to how you look, but also to how you feel. I also like to take a little bit of concealer just around the outer corners of my mouth because I have a bit of darkness there as well. I'm just going to set the concealer in place with a little bit of loose setting powder. This is my trusty Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm just going to focus this underneath my eyes to set the concealer and prevent it from creasing. I'm also going to apply a little bit in my T-zone where again I tend to get a little bit shiny throughout the day. I would usually move on to my brows at this point, but lately I've been doing something a bit different that I want to share with you guys. So I take my bronzer. This is from Bobbi Brown. This is a fairly new one for me. It's in the shade Elvis Duran number 14. I pick up some bronzer and then I will go in these small circular motions and I go up onto the side of my brow a little bit. So that's why I wait to do my brows until I'm done with this step so they don't get messed up. But I just like to go in small circular motions and really hit the side of my face. So really where the sun would naturally, you know, hit my face. And usually that does happen a little bit on the side of the brow as well. So applying it this way is just going to make it look even more natural and as if you were really sun-kissed. And then I will also bring a little bit down the side of my jaw. This really slims down the face and just really gives more definition to your jawline. I think it's a really flattering thing to do. So there you have the bronzy side and the non-bronzy side. I really like to focus the bronzer a little bit more high up on my cheek to kind of lift the face. I try to avoid putting any product below this line, so like your cheek contour line, I try to stay above that to really lift the face. And again, really hitting that brow as well and going in circular motions. And always, of course, blending into the hairline so that it looks as natural as possible. And then I pick up a little bit more product and I will just sweep that across the bridge of my nose to again give me that kind of suntanned and very natural bronzy look. Now that I have the bronzer on, I can move on to the brows, and I'm going to use my classic Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Powder Duo in dark brown, along with the double-ended brush, which has a flat angled brush on one side and a little spoolie on the other. So I first like to just brush them up with the spoolie end, and then I like to take the darker color and I will use the flat angled brush to lightly define and just fill in any sparse areas and just make the brows look a little bit more even and full. The brows are done. I'm just going to set them in place with a little bit of brow gel. This is a must for me. This is one from Ico. It's one of my favorites. This is pretty much hairspray for your eyebrows. Your brows will not move if you have this on. I also like how it just brings back the natural hair-like texture of your brows. Sometimes with brow products, you can end up seeing the product more than the brows. And again, it adds to the natural look, which is what I like. For the eyes, I'm gonna move back to my bronzer because as a lot of you guys may know, I love to have bronzer on my eyes as an eyeshadow. So I take a nice I take a nice big fluffy brush like this one. I will pick up some product and I will just sweep that in my crease in a window wiper motion, just using a very, very light hand, like just gently grazing the eye area. I love doing this. I think it just looks so flattering and it's just so easy and simple. You can really do this with any bronzer that you have. Onto blush, I'm going to use another relatively new product for me. This is from MAC. It's in the color Peaches. It's a beautiful peach colored blush. So I'm going to take a large angled contour brush from Sigma. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that blush. And again, I'm going to focus this mostly on the upper part of the cheek. Again, I just want to lift the face. If you put too much product in this area, it can kind of drag down the face. So I always aim to put it a little bit higher up. Going back with my fluffy brush that I used in the crease, I'm going to pick up a little bit more of the blush and I'm going to run this across my eyelid and also a little bit into the crease, but mostly focusing it on the actual lid. Because the brush is so fluffy and we are using a blush, it's not going to go on like too harsh and too pigmented. It's just going to give a very soft wash of color. Again, keeping it looking very natural. And then onto highlighter. This is one of my favorite parts of doing my makeup. I think it's a favorite for a lot of us. One of my favorite highlights of all time is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the color Opal. The tone of this is so pretty. It has a beautiful sheen to it, which leans more on the golden side, but it's not very yellow. So I'm just gonna lightly sweep that across my cheekbone. And I will also bring some right here above my brow. Then for making it look more natural and blended with the skin, I again take my beauty blender and I'm going to press this over where I applied the highlight, and this is going to allow the powder to really melt into the skin. And I think a lot of highlight can look very pretty in photos and on camera, but when it comes to day-to-day life, I think it's really important to blend that in and really make it look as if it's your skin. I'm just going to finish up the eyes. Again, I'm going to take a little bit of that beautiful highlight and I'm just going to pop that into the inner corners of my eyes. And I'm just going to sweep a very small amount just on the center of the lid. This is something else that's quite new for me. It is a brown eyeliner from Pure Cosmetics. This is a really nice alternative to black eyeliner, which I usually always do. I like to just take this very close to my lashes. Then I will take a very small brush and just blend that brown liner just to make it look a little bit softer. Totally forgot to add a little bit of bronzer on my lower lash line just to define that area as well. I think this also makes the lower lashes look a little bit fuller. And lastly, I'm just going to curl my lashes. Then I'm going to apply some mascara. This is the Chantecaille Longest Lash Mascara. Lastly, onto lips, I'm going to use my trusty MAC lip liner in the color Boldly Bare. It's just such a good color. It's one of my favorite pinky nude lip liners and it wears really well all day. And I've just been putting a tinted lip balm on top of that. This one is from Coola. It's in the color Tan Line and this is really nice and moisturizing as well for the lips, which I love. That's the color. It's a very pretty nude. It does also have an SPF of 30 as well, which is nice. I just apply a little bit of that directly onto my lips and I like that it's moisturizing as well, and it just gives a very natural sheen to the lips, but it's nothing like too glossy. And then the very final step is just to apply a little bit of a setting spray to make sure that everything is locked in and it's not going to budge. I really like the one from Urban Decay. This is the De-Slick version. So I'm just going to mist that on my face and then fan it down. And that is how I've been doing my makeup lately. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this video and picked up on some new tips or techniques that you could incorporate into your own makeup. These are all the products that I've been loving and how I've been applying them onto my skin. Again, the skin is dewy and very healthy looking, but it's gonna stay matte in the areas that I needed to stay matte for the whole day. I also wanted to do another giveaway for you guys in today's video, and one of the products that you can win is this primer from Hourglass. This is the Veil Mineral Primer. It is one of my all-time favorite primers, and I have an extra one that I want to give to you guys. So I put this in a giveaway with all of these other makeup and skincare items. So one of you guys can win all of the products that you see on the screen right now. And if you want to enter to win, it's very simple. All you have to do is leave a comment under this photo right here. This photo is going to be over on my Instagram. You can leave me any comment that you like, and that will count as your entry. And then in about a week or so, I'll contact you directly on Instagram. You can send me your address and I will send you your gift. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think of this look. I hope you're all having a really nice day. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.